one Maya at the front walks up. And he's covered in tattoos and scars, and he's got more quetzal feathers than anybody else. And he goes, "You wanted to see me?" in Spanish. And Cortez goes, Are you Guerrero? And Gonzalo Guerrero goes, "I was Guerrero."
Gonzalo Guerrero was a Spanish conquistador who, together with some of his companions, was shipwrecked in 1511. He is remembered not for what he did for Spain, but for his amazing change. He left his life as a conqueror and joined Maya society, becoming a military leader and a symbol of resistance against the empire that sent him to the New World. How did this big change take place? Let us go further into the full story of Gonzalo Guerrero, the man that decided to fight for the Mayans instead of against them. Before we continue with Tales of the New World, please take a moment to like and subscribe, as it really helps out the channel. The year is 1511. The Spanish Empire's grip on the New World is still young, but growing. Across the turquoise waters of the Caribbean, their presence is unmistakable. Hispaniola, the heart of their colonization efforts, teems with Spanish settlers, its once thriving Taino population reduced to shadows of their former selves. Nearby, Puerto Rico, a rugged gem in the sea, echoes with the clang of Spanish tools and the whispers of resistance from its indigenous people. To the west, the lush and untamed Cuba beckons, where conquistadors like Diego Velázquez de Cuellar are just beginning to carve Spanish settlements into the wild landscapes. Jamaica, claimed but barely touched, lies quiet under Spanish flags. Beyond the islands, the vast mainland of South America looms on the horizon, mysterious, untamed, and barely explored. Coastal stretches of Venezuela and Colombia are the farthest reaches of the Spanish ventures. In this unfolding drama, the Spanish hold the keys to the Caribbean, poised to expand their dominion into the unknown. Guerrero began in 1511 as a member of the expedition led by Diego de Nogueza to Santo Domingo from Panama. Guerrero was aboard a vessel consisting of 20 crew members. A hurricane off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula wrecked the ship. Survivors, such as Guerrero and Geronimo de Aguilar, reached the shore in boats. The torture, however, was not yet over for them. Soon, they were caught by the local Maya, a very strong empire that ruled most of the Yucatan Peninsula at that time. The Maya captured them and killed some of the survivors in religious ceremonies to honor their gods. Witnessing this must have been a horrific experience, to watch their crewmates who were painted blue, the colour of sacrifice, held by their arms and legs, while a high priest with their intricate garments, heavily smeared in sacred blood, stood ready with an obsidian blade, ready to remove the heart. To the indigenous population, this profound act was not viewed as cruelty, but as a necessary and sacred duty to maintain harmony between the mortal world, the heavens, and the underworld. Two of the crew didn't receive this fate, Guerrero and Aguilar, but they ended up as slaves. Guerrero suffered in the early stages of captivity by the Mayans, but he soon adapted to the new life by studying the Mayan language and their customs. He accepted the opportunity to be part of the Maya society, unlike Aguilar, who remained firm in his Christian faith and wanted to return to Spain. He eventually earned his freedom, which wasn't uncommon in Maya society, as they freed anyone who proved useful to them. As a former Spanish soldier, he assisted the Maya in fighting off the various tribes around them on many occasions. His knowledge of European military tactics, especially ambushes and defensive construction, helped protect the Mayan domains. This brought him respect from the Maya people and eventually raised him from a former slave to a trusted military leader. With his marriage to Zazil Ha, Nachan Khan's daughter, Guerrero reached a turning point in his life. The daughter of one of the strong Maya leaders of the city-state of Chetumal, she was destined to be a full member of Maya society because of it. Marrying into the Maya elite boosted his social status and showed his loyalty to his new people. It wasn't just Guerrero's military knowledge that impressed the Maya. His complete adoption of their culture, including getting facial tattoos and piercings, which were symbols of honor and social status, also strengthened his position in their society. These tattoos and piercings weren't just for decoration. They symbolized Guerrero's transformation and acceptance as a Maya warrior, not the Spanish sailor he once was. In 1519, Hernán Cortés marched upon the Yucatan Peninsula to conquer the Aztec Empire. As he explored the area, Cortés learned of two Spaniards living with the Maya, Guerrero and Aguilar. Seeing an opportunity, Cortés sent a letter to both men asking them to join him. Aguilar, who remained a Christian, agreed to rejoin the Spanish, desperate to escape his years of slavery. But Guerrero refused. In a memorable dialogue, Guerrero said to Aguilar, "I am married and have 3 children. My face is tattooed and my ears are pierced. What would the Spaniards say if they saw me like this?" Cortés and his men were shocked by Guerrero's refusal, but it showed how much the latter had devoted himself to his new life. By then, Guerrero had already adopted a family, was a well-respected military advisor to the Maya, and saw no reason to return to the Spanish world. His choice to stay was not just a personal decision, it was a statement of loyalty to the Maya people. He had been with the Maya from the beginning, fighting to defend them against both rival tribes and the Spanish invaders. His understanding of the Spanish military made him an excellent leader in the fight against the Spanish conquest. In 1527, a Spanish soldier named Francisco de Montejo launched a campaign to conquer the Yucatan Peninsula. Before Montejo reached Chetumal, where Guerrero had influence, he offered Guerrero a high-ranking position in the Spanish army if he returned to the Spanish side. Guerrero again declined. He had now become one of the many Nacoms of the Maya, meaning military commanders. He was faithful to his people and his family. He warned Montejo that the Spanish would face fierce resistance if they tried to enter Chetumal. Guerrero played a key role during Montejo's expedition, helping to stop the Spanish invasion. Using his knowledge of both Spanish and native fighting tactics, he planned ambushes and guerrilla attacks that frustrated the Spanish forces. In the end, Montejo's expedition failed, and the Spanish had to retreat, unable to break through the strong defences led by Guerrero. This was certainly significant, because at the time, when many other indigenous forces were easily defeated, Guerrero helped the Maya defenders successfully hold off the Spanish forces, delaying the conquest of the Yucatan for several years. His clever strategies and deep understanding of Maya territory and culture made him a tough opponent for the Spaniards. For the following years, Guerrero continued leading the Maya in their resistance against Spanish attacks. His military fame grew further, and his children, from his union with Zazil Ha, were among the first mestizos, meaning mixed European indigenous ancestry, to be found in the Americas. His family became a blend of 2 cultures, although Guerrero remained loyal to the Maya. He considered himself a defender of the people who had given him a new lease on life, not as a Spaniard. By this time, Guerrero's life was almost over. In 1536, he led a battle against Spanish forces commanded by Pedro de Alvarado in Honduras. Guerrero had allied with a Maya chief named Sacumba to defend the town of Ticamaya against Spanish invasion. He was struck down in battle, being shot by an arquebus. His body was found among the casualties. It was tattooed and pierced, clearly identifying him as a Maya warrior. He died fighting for people he chose to live with and protect. Even though Guerrero's life ended in a fight, his legacy continued. Some saw him as a traitor, but the Mayas may have seen him as a hero for fighting so bravely to protect their world from outsiders. His decision to fully embrace Maya society and his refusal to return to the Spanish world made him a unique figure in the history of the Spanish conquests. The life of Gonzalo Guerrero is a story of transformation from a Spanish sailor to a Mayan warrior, then leader, and finally defender of the indigenous lands. He would marry Zazil Ha, and the children they had would start the mestizo heritage, which would define much of Latin America. Guerrero's loyalty to the Maya, his brilliant strategies, and his refusal to return to his Spanish roots make his story a crucial part of American history. What do you think about Guerrero's decision to stay with the Maya and fight the Spanish? Share your comments below, like and share, and also subscribe to our channel to get more interesting stories from history.